At Huntington Beach Academy for the Performing Arts, we pride ourselves on being an excellent program working inside a very normal high school environment. None of our classes are extracurricular. They're all academic, graded, and count towards our students' already amazing GPAs. Our staff are dedicated, and they love starting their students on a life-altering journey of discovery, watching as their students transform from children into seasoned professionals ready to enter the entertainment workforce, higher education, or any field they choose, better equipped to lead a productive life than an average high school student. And one of the most valuable things they walk away with is the friends and contacts that they make here. At HBAPA, we create amazing productions, but more importantly, we create amazing people.
Hi everyone, I'm Derek Young and I'm a student at Westminster High School in the Huntington Beach Junior High School District. And today I have two very special and important guests, Trustee Dr. Bonnie Castry as well as Trustee Diana Carey. And today we'll be talking about APA, which is the Academy of Performing Arts, a program that is offered by the Huntington Beach Junior High School District.
Thank you very much for inviting us, Derek. It's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk with you. And we're especially pleased to talk with you today in this wonderful historic auditorium, which in 2026 is going to celebrate its 100th birthday. And if you want information about the auditorium, I'd be happy to, later in our discussion to talk a bit about it.
Yeah, we have so many wonderful programs here at APA, which is the Academy for the Performing Arts. We are nationally recognized fine arts schools, so it's just really great to be here and talk with the community and let them know all of the wonderful opportunities we have for our students.
Dr. Castry, would you like to elaborate more on the historical significance of this auditorium?
It was built in 1926, and I've been going back through the old trustee minutes to see what the thought process was in terms of building this wonderful building. And essentially what I've been able to gather is that the trustees really wanted a very strong structure that would last forever through potential earthquakes or anything. So they chose an architect who would do this beautiful Lombard Romanesque structure. And what makes it so special is that it doesn't have statues and things in it like many old Roman things have, like the Colosseum and stuff. But rather it has these beautiful, huge archways that then have beautiful decorum etched in and actually chipped in with the stonework. So we're very excited about its 100th birthday right around the corner in 2026.
For those who are unfamiliar with APA and for the audience as well, can you please tell us what the program is all about?
Sure, I'm happy to. About 30 plus years ago, the state of California said that they were no longer going to be requiring the arts, and so the Board of Trustees said, this can't happen, we have to have the arts programs. So we got together with the performing arts teachers, and with starting out with just 2 divisions here at the Academy, we started what was called SPA, the School of the Performing Arts, and then subsequently became the Academy. We've built the program from 2 very fledgling programs to over 9 programs. So initially there were 80 students, and we now have well over 700 students in the Academy. And they can come here from any one of our schools, or actually they can come from out of our district and audition. And if they're accepted in the program, then we bring them into our district.
Okay, Derek, on top of what Dr. Castry said, all of the classes here at APA are A through G courses, and that means that they are approved for the University of California and also for the CSU system. And so none of the classes here are what we would call extracurricular, but they are co-curricular classes, which means that they go on a student's transcript toward their GPA.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's really great. Before we get into the serious stuff, let's have a little fun. So if APA could put on any production, money, time, and logistics aside, what would you want to see performed on the main stage?
Well, Derek, I have two that I would like to see performed. One is Evita, which is one of my all-time favorites, and then the other one is Miss Saigon. And when our instructors choose the programs and performances we're going to do, they also want to make sure that they're appropriate for the curriculum that the students have. And of course, both Evita and Miss Saigon are very historical.
So, and the two, since she got two, I'll get two of myself. I'd love to see Wicked. The costuming in Wicked is unbelievable, and we have such a fabulous costume department that I think we could do it. Everything's just really, really superb. And the other one is actually the same one as Miss Carey's, and that is Miss Saigon. It's such an important story for our country to know and understand, and for our community to understand. So I think those two.
Those are excellent choices. Thank you. Can you please tell us why academic rigor is so important to the APA program?
It's actually pre-professional and pre-college. And so academically, as you well know from your studies, you really need to be in the high 3s, 3.8, 3.9, or 4.0 and above in order to go to the colleges of your choice. So if the students want to continue in the arts, then they want to go to places like Pace in New York and Carnegie Mellon and all. So they have to keep their grades up. And if they want to go into other studies, they still need to have good grades in order to get into the best colleges in the country.
And in addition to that, some of the classes that we have now are dual enrollment classes. And dual enrollment classes are wonderful because that means that you not only get credit toward high school graduation, but you also get college credit for it as well. And so we are known nationally, our school is, for the high quality that we have in our classes. And so it just puts our students ahead because they're used to the rigor that they're going to encounter, you know, when they go to university, and also when they go straight into a professional category.
Sounds like the students at APA are really committed. How do you think hands-on, professional level experience prepares students for the real world?
I think it does in a number of ways. Learning to get along together, so the collaborative skills that they learn, the communication skills. The big one probably is time management. Some of our students are on campus anywhere from early in the morning, 8 or 9 o'clock, until late at night, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, practicing and making sure that they're really the best in their craft.
And one of the other things, aside from the academics, and Dr. Castry did mention it, is they learn soft skills. So no matter what they're going to go into, whether it's a career or they're going to go into the university, you know, you have to understand how to collaborate with people. You have to understand adaptability. You have to be able to communicate. And as Dr. Castry said, time management is really important. So those are issues and things that everybody needs, regardless if they go where they're going, if they go into the university or if they're going to go directly into a career path.
I can definitely see how it prepares the students beyond the arts. Trustee Carey and Castry, could you talk a little bit about how APA selects its productions and what students should expect when they audition?
One of the things, and I'll first talk about our staff, you know, we're really blessed because many of our staff and teachers, matter of fact, practically all of them, are also involved in the careers that they're teaching about outside of APA. And so when they choose a performance or a particular play or musical, you know, they have to apply for those well in advance because they all have rights that we have to procure. And so they've got to really be ahead and organized for that type of thing. And then also what I mentioned earlier as well, we want to make sure that the productions that we have are relevant to the students' education now. So that's why historical perspective on things is really important. Now, as far as the students in APA, APA is very competitive. So just because you're in APA doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to automatically get a particular part, because it is so professionally oriented. You have to be right for the part, you have to understand the part, and you have to have the right skills for the part. I mean, not every part requires dancing. Some require dancing, singing, and acting.
It's been grand knowing you, grand knowing you, grand being your friend. You've been kind,
Right, Barry Marks, take one.
and so generous. Right.
My skills as an artist improved exponentially when I was in APA, not just from my technical capabilities, but from my performance skills as well. But also getting the opportunity to be a part of performances that have an extraordinarily high, almost Broadway caliber level, gave me the artistic experience as a performer to really step into the professional realm.
Is that we all have a smaller issue too. Now, right today, we're on the stage of the main theater, but we have what we call the black box theater, which is in back, and we can do theater productions in the round there as well. So it's a smaller venue, and some students' talents are more amenable to that type of stage. Also, we send our students out, depending on the program, into the community where they can perform. And also, we're really blessed to have the Rose Center Theater here. I know I'm the vice president of the Rose Center Theater, so it's a little commercial for the Rose Center. But our students can go and apply there and audition there. And they're auditioning with people from all over Southern California, sometimes for people even from other states. So it's a really high quality actual experience for them. So that's kind of mainly how we do things.
And I think in choosing what we're going to do, both on the main stage here where we are, Derek, and also in the Black Box, our teachers are so cognizant of each of the students' particular skills and qualities that they're able to try and get the rights to the productions that are going to help those students to shine. As a result of that, several of our students have ended up going to New York, and some of them actually have won the Jimmy, which is one of the highest awards in the county here and in the state of California. And they've gone back to New York to compete with 100 or more students from around the country. And our students have always come out on top.
Auditions are tough, but they really push the students to do their best. Another thing that's unique about APA is how technology plays such a big role in what we do. Trustee Castry and Carrie, how do you see technology helping students in their artistic development?
Artistically, it really helps them from a couple of angles. First of all, we have state-of-the-art equipment because our guilds work very hard at raising enough money to buy those state-of-the-art equipment pieces. And so our students are learning lighting and design of the sets. And those students that are in costume design make all the costumes for the various productions. So they're learning everything from A to Z in terms of putting it together. The technology part is huge because they're able to see what's going on, but also to then work the technology.
Yes, Derek, that is really an important question. And, you know, as a board, it is really important for us to make sure that the technology here is state of the art. We are, as I said earlier, we're known, nationally, and it's very important that our students, as Dr. Castry said, have experience and understand what it takes to put on a production. And so that means that they do have to know about lighting and sound and stage management. So all of those issues are really important, and it's important that we keep up to date with our technology as well.
That is really awesome. I know another aspect that makes APA so special is its inclusivity. So Trustee Carrie Ann Castry, APA leads with its way through its Unified Arts program. How important is it that the board and the APA community leads with inclusivity?
Derek, that has always, inclusivity has always been important to the board. And we feel that regardless of a student's disability, that they should have an opportunity to experience the arts. And so it is very important here. It's very important at our other schools as well. And I know just recently we had a United Arts Performance Day, and we had 4 of our schools that participated and came over to the theater at Ocean View High School. So being able to express yourself artistically regardless is really, really important.
And a number of our students actually have continued in the arts. We currently have a student in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who is in a wheelchair and does all of the arts. She was in Hamlet when she was here. So our teachers work with our students to make sure that they're included and really can feel good about themselves.
We've had blind students that come, and our students too that are here, help the other students. So it's really very encouraging and very heartwarming.
And you bring up a good point, Miss Carrie, because our students do learn empathy and caring for other people and caring for the whole community. And that's huge in today's world.
It's amazing to see how APA supports all students. So looking forward and looking ahead, where do you see APA in the going future? And what can students expect in the coming years?
I would think that we'll probably continue to grow because we really work to get students into the program from our K-8s and from our surrounding districts. And we'll continue to grow the program to the point that we're probably going to need to expand the actual academy to at least 1 second stage.
It's really very important. And one of the things, and I mentioned it earlier, is our teachers, because they are involved in the arts community, know the trends that are happening, and arts is just changing so quickly. And so I know that some of the things that we're going to be looking at, our film, television. I know AI is really becoming an important and integral part of the arts. And so we will look to classes like that. One of the other issues, and I think we've mentioned it before, is our students come back and they tell us about the classes that they've had. And our parents do as well. I know this weekend I was talking to one of our parents, and she was complimenting us because her student, even though he's in acting, had a really good idea of all the other aspects of performance, and so she was talking about that as well.
That sounds so amazing. Can you tell us your favorite APA performance you've seen thus far?
My favorite was Phantom in the Opera. Phantom of the Opera was so amazing. And the students who were in that Phantom program, many of them now have graduated from some of the finest schools, including USC and in Ohio, in Cincinnati, Ohio. And Allie happens to be on the road right now in a production. So, they really get such a good education here.
I was going to also say Phantom of the Opera is my all-time favorite. And one of the issues, or not issues, one of the wonderful things, on Broadway, the original Phantom was Michael Crawford, and one of his relatives came to one of our productions of the Phantom. And then he came, I think it was on the last night, and was able to come backstage. We didn't know he was coming, and he talked to our students and was so impressed by the performance that we had put on. So that would be one of them. For this year, and I have to talk about Les Miserables, was absolutely fabulous. We had actually 3 casts. We had so many people, and I was just really impressed by that. I saw Les Mis when it first came out in London on the stage, And I have to tell you, our performance, I've never seen anything that came up to that staging in London. And this was absolutely right there. So it was just really, really wonderful.
So this is another fun question. If you could join any APA class for a day, which one would you choose?
Well, actually, Derek, I had the chance to do that, and it wasn't only one day. The teachers in the dance department asked me if I would participate in the retirement for Diane Mackus, and I said, sure, not realizing all the rehearsals and everything, and I got through it, and they helped me, and it was wonderful. I had always wanted to take dancing lessons since I was a little kid and had not been able to do it, so a dream came true. But it wasn't only one day, it was a couple of months of practice.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I would have to say the same thing because I still try and dance almost every day, and dancing is so close to my heart. But the other thing, and I was able to do it with the drama teacher at Westminster High School, she did an improv class, and I was in, just kind of watching that day, and so that would also be really a fun thing.
I think you can tell we love the arts.
Yeah.
So when I think of what I picked up at APA, it kind of formed the human I am today. Because that was my high school experience. That was the people I hung out with. It was my culture. So I think I carry a lot of what it means to be, an APA alumni with me today, whatever that magical aura might be.
It's a very weird playground, I feel like APA is. And with that, it's a time to figure out just who you are as a student, as a person, as a performer, as a technician, as a director, as a playwright, as a dancer. Whatever program the student went through, I think everyone has the same opinion that APA has provided a space to learn the fundamentals of how to be a professional.
If APA had a talent show for staff and board members, what would you two perform?
Well, when I was silly looking at this, when some of the questions were sent to me several weeks ago, I put down that I would dance, I would learn ballet, and I would wear a tutu.
Wow.
Okay, well, you have to know that Dr. Castry and I always try and dress up for the opening of our musical theater performances. So it would probably, for me, be dance as well, but it would also involve costuming.
Yes, absolutely.
What's one piece of advice that you give to new APA students who are a little bit hesitant, a little bit nervous about their auditions as well as their performances?
Well, I would tell them two things that my mother told me when I was in junior high. And one of the things is you get out of things whatever you put into them. So you have to always try and do your best. And along with that, and we talked about it a little bit with auditions, if you do not try out and you do not audition for something, you automatically do not get it. And so you have to always put yourself out there and always try. And my mom also used to tell me, she says, you're going to learn a lot from the things you don't get and you don't make as opposed to the things that you do. And so that would be my advice.
Well, our mothers didn't know each other. I think they went to the same school.
If you could design an APA class or workshop based on any fun hobby or skill, what would you pick?
I don't know if it would be a whole class, but I was thinking about that. And not all of our APA students have experience in every aspect of theater and performing arts. And so I think I would put together a class where maybe it wasn't a semester, maybe it was, an interim class where they were exposed to lighting, where they were exposed to sound, and to staging. We, to give you just an example, our musical theater teacher has written musicals that have been shown around the world. And he not only has written all the music, but he's written where the stage is, the dancing, the whole entire musical. And they're as I said, they've been performed in Europe and in the Orient as well. And I think that if you're going to go into the arts and really, for instance, especially I think if you're going to be an actor or dancer, whatever, you really need to have an understanding of the whole aspect of what it takes to put on a show. So I think that's what I would do.
Yeah. And you can tell Diana and I think fairly much alike, a survey class of some of everything, so that every student got to feel what it's like to turn the lights up and down, and how it looks then on the stage on a particular actor or actress, and to go to our costume design room and actually draw out the costumes for some of the various productions. So doing a little bit of everything. And we haven't said much about MMET.
No, we haven't. I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
So MMET is this wonderful program that's very noisy
Yeah.
and great fun. And
rock and roll.
Yeah, and young people who have never touched a guitar learn to play guitar or percussion.
And and I love that, and that's a whole nother aspect of the arts, and it's integral because you couldn't have a performance unless you had that knowledge of the technology side of it, which we talked about a little bit earlier. So yeah, it's a really fabulous program. And one of the things for MMET and also for our theatrical side, because our students are so far ahead of the curve, they do a lot of summer internships and at different universities. And for our technology side of it, which is really wonderful, we're right close to Los Angeles. And so we have a lot of companies that will take on our students for summer internships. And I think it was last year, one of our students, as soon as he graduated, he got a full-time job up with one of the technology companies up, in Hollywood. For a really fabulous salary. So I think more than I ever made. So anyway, those are really wonderful opportunities that are available. So as we said earlier, if you have an idea of the whole program of what it takes to put something on, and I will mention too, especially with, MMET, Southern California, very high percentages of jobs are in the arts, whether they're in the technical side or the performing side. And that covers everything from fine arts, which we are not talking about today, so much clear through to the technology side and the computer design side of things. So it's really important.
And a big part of the MMET program is actually teaching students how to write and do their own filming. So one of the productions that they do every year is called Playlist, where they actually write the music, then do a film with them in it.
Wow.
So they have to work collaboratively with their teammates to take pictures of them and do the film. So it really is a growth area, and as Ms. Carey said,
Yeah.
they go right out of here and get jobs.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
Trustee Carey, you talked a little bit about AI, or you mentioned it earlier on in the discussion. And as the possibilities and the limitations of AI grow, I know students, teachers, and parents are growing more concerned about it. How do you think the arts can implement AI?
Well, I think the arts already has to a certain extent, but not as involved, as it is now. And it's great that you would ask that question, because our teachers are very, I'm going to say concerned, but they know that AI can really be a benefit to the arts. And matter of fact, just this last week, our performing arts teachers, the visual and performing arts teachers got together. We had a whole day at the district office, and that was the focus, is how you can use AI in the classroom. And it's really something I think that we shouldn't be afraid of, but it needs to be something that we know how to use and how to utilize. So that's really a good question.
And we have Parent University every few months here in the district. And so to alleviate parents' fears, I think that our teachers could certainly, and our students could talk about how we're integrating AI in a very positive way. So it's a good learning experience.
Thank you to you both for sharing so much insight about the APA program. It's clear that APA is more than just preparing you for performances, but it's also preparing students for their futures in Broadway.
It certainly is, Derek, and let me just do a shout out for what the program is going to be for this next year. This is the 24-25 schedule, and as you can see, our wonderful staff put together all the pictures of the various things as well. So if you'd like that, you may have it.
Oh,
As a
thank you.
souvenir. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Derek, for having us, and especially to have us here in this historic, beautiful theater.
At Huntington Beach Academy for the Performing Arts, we pride ourselves on being an excellent program working inside a very normal high school environment. None of our classes are extracurricular. They're all academic, graded, and count towards our students' already amazing GPAs. Our staff are dedicated, and they love starting their students on a life-altering journey of discovery, watching as their students transform from children into seasoned professionals ready to enter the entertainment workforce, higher education, or any field they choose, better equipped to lead a productive life than an average high school student. And one of the most valuable things they walk away with is the friends and contacts that they make here. At HBAPA, we create amazing productions, but more importantly, we create amazing people.
One mentor that really stood out was David Gattell. To paraphrase one thing he says is, it's cool to care. It's like, it's really easy to be like, oh, the cool guy, laid back, who, you know, I don't want to seem like I care too much, but the coolest thing you can do, and the most professional thing you can do, is care about your work. And that stuck with me.
I am very grateful that APA is a state-of-the-art performing arts high school. I was more familiar with leading technologies than a lot of my classmates were in college, and that kind of gave me the upper leg.
Almost every set I've ever been on, oh, you're like 28 or something. I'm like, no, I'm 22. Like, it's given me such a big head start on doing what I want to do, and it's also given me a way to look at things from a different perspective.
My time at APA really shaped my career in performing arts because it kind of honed me in on figuring out exactly what aspect of tech or of music that I wanted to do. I definitely had a couple teachers that really shaped me into who I am today, but the biggest one for me being Mr. Simmons. He's so good at prepping you for the real world. Simmons, you did good.
So honestly, I stumbled into APA, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I never imagined that I would grow to be a leader on APA Council, to be working here, you know, and then to get full-time, and now going on 11 years working here as, you know, an employee. So honestly, it has changed my entire life.
So when I think of what I picked up at APA, you know, it kind of formed the human I am today. Because that was my high school experience. That was the people I hung out with. It was my culture. So I think I carry a lot of what it means to be, you know, an APA alumni with me today, whatever that magical aura might be.
It's a very weird playground, I feel like APA is. And with that, it's a time to figure out just who you are as a student, as a person, as a performer, as a technician, as a director, as a playwright, as a dancer. Whatever program the student went through, I think everyone has the same opinion that APA has provided a space to learn the fundamentals of how to be a professional.
I learned very quickly that my high school experience
was very unique when I started going out there into college and into the real world. I learned that what happens here is a very magical place for kids to have a safe space to be creative and to learn what it is to be creative at a young age. The skills that I learned here still follow me to this day. The live production stuff that happens here on this campus is so state-of-the-art that that knowledge has followed me.
Miss Andrea Taylor gave me the opportunity to audition for the AILE program in New York. I was like 16 years old and she took a group of us to go audition and I actually made it. And then she, you know, did her magic, sent some emails, and she was able to get me a scholarship. I spent the summer when I was 16 in New York and I trained, and a life-changing experience.
My experience at APA influenced my artistic craft. Really working on the play festivals and dramatic production. That was when I was able to really figure out who I was as a playwright, as a director. That was, yeah, where I really figured out who I wanted to be as an artist.
Whenever we were performing in those shows, it was always like the best feeling of, you know, we've worked on this for months, it's finally coming together, and we finally have something that we can show for it. You know, I'd show videos of that to my friends once I got into college, and they were always just completely amazed and couldn't believe that somewhere like APA actually existed.
I think the most memorable mentor that I had would be the obvious Jamie Knight, the director of MMET. I'm gonna start crying on camera, what's happening? He completely changed my life and saw so many things in myself that I didn't see. He trusted me as a junior in high school to take a whole Beach Boys album, figure out all the background vocals that they were doing, and to teach it to everybody. So I was a junior and I was terrified, and it ended up being a really, really fun show and completely changed my universe and taught me I could handle things far beyond anything I thought I ever could.
APA has had a huge impact on my career and personal development. It is awesome to have videos from my high school years that look like professional concert documentaries, honestly. So I remember in the moment just feeling really grateful and really lucky that I got to play on such a huge stage in an iconic auditorium with lights and sound and professional equipment and a good team of players around me, and I feel more lucky for that now looking back.
Being an MMET really helped me advance my skills as a vocalist and a songwriter and a performer and a guitar player, and I still use those skills to this day.
The schedule and like the vigorous training and the amount of time that I spent here prepared me exponentially for college and career, because a lot of other people don't come from programs this large and they don't do 3 musicals a year, and then if they're in dance they do 2 dance shows, or if they're in acting too they do, they don't do that at most places, and that's essentially what APA does. It is preparing you for that next step or that higher education, and it did for me.
It's been fun, now I must run, but it's been grand, perfect.